Welcome to this training video. This is the second part of the training video series on consulting overview. So this is Said, by the way. So in the first part, we covered all these slides. So I will start from here in this second section. Make the initial interview a success. Actually, here I will talk when you will first meet the client for the first time for an interview or for a discussion, whether both parties find it an acceptable contract or not. So how to make that initial interview, the first interview, successful. So as a consultant, when you will meet the client on the first interview, so it's better that you look and act like a professional. And there are some essential questions to ask the potential client. It's just to understand the problem, and also it will help. I think there's some questions as below you can ask. You can focus on these areas, just like what problem needs solving. You need to understand the problem the client is facing, or you need to understand the task or project that the client is facing. Another thing is, if it's a project, probably you need to find out all the initial or primary requirements for that particular project, and what is more important and what are the accessories. You need to find out those, exactly what the client wants you to do. This it is similar to the first point, but I think there's the problem and there's the what are the stuff that the client wants to do to address this problem, or he may have some other stuff to do as well. How will you know if the objectives have been met? Probably you can go for a discussion with the client, how, whether you were successful or not, how that will be judged, and what are the criteria to measure the outcome. And also you need to ask if there is any sensitive issues related to your contract or related to the task that you will be doing, and probably is there any internal political issues that you need to be aware of, or any safety or other hazards or any regulations that you need to maintain. So yeah, you need to dig out the sensitive issues. Main point of contact, yeah, for whom we will keep the contact with, any backup contacts. What authority does each player have? Yeah, you and the client, how much authority each one has. Probably you can determine when and where the task will be done, and in terms of copyright or those type of things, who reserves the right, and in terms of confidentiality, disclosure, what are the related authority, and what are the time period or hours during the day, what you will work, or whether you will work at client's place or you will work at your place, and those type of stuff you need to discuss and ask. Okay. And for the interview to be successful, you also need to take notes. Yeah, probably you may not remember 100% stuff, but it may depend based on the person. Some people may remember a lot, some people may not remember a lot. But another thing is, taking notes is always useful, because we have something handy to review all the discussions, and maybe probably go for another discussions, or maybe clarify some stuff. And if you keep everything on your head, you may forget some stuff. So it's better, or it's always better that you take notes, all the terms and conditions and all the requirements. Yeah. Holding off on giving advice. You may not want to give any advice to your client at your first meeting, and you may not try to suggest him the solution or show him the solution. Sometimes you may feel to prove that you understand the problem and you have some solutions, or maybe you are too desperate to give the to get the contract, so you may give advice to solve the problem. I think if you are not paid for that time period, probably it may not be a good idea to give the advice. Probably the client is faced with some of the issues. Maybe he himself is good at those things, but he may not be certain in some areas or in some issues. So probably he just talking to you and trying to find out the solutions to those problems. But if you give the advice, he finds the solutions and probably will not get the advice. So yeah, in general, it's not a good idea to provide solutions or advice to the client. But however, you need to communicate that you are a good consultant, you are a competent consultant, and you understand the problem, and you can solve the problem. If you are good at it, you should try to convince your potential client on that. Interpreting body language, you should be able to understand the body language of the client, whether he's open in some areas or whether he's not. And based on this, you need to customize your questions. And sometimes, if you feel that sometimes whatever you are telling from his body language, you understand that he may be angry or he may be not sure, he may be thinking, or he may not be certain. So based on this, you can change the direction of whatever you are telling to him. Making use of listening techniques, you have to listen actively and try to make it interactive and try to find out whatever information you need and try to put information or participate in such a way so that the client understands that you are a good consultant and you can handle the project. Identifying emotions from facial expression. I think it somehow relates to the interpreting body language. Yeah, you can check his facial expression to understand what he's trying to say or what he's uh, trying to interpret. I think there are some 6 different facial expression. If you can identify them, probably you'll understand most of the stuff. And based on this, you can uh, customize your expression or whatever you are trying to say to him. Okay. What to do when the interview is over? I think there are 2 things. Probably the client may offer you the position instantly on the first interview. If it is a big project, the client may want some formal request for proposal. And another thing is it can be somewhat undecided. Yeah, in any way, one thing will be paying thanks, leaving business card, and pay interest if you are really interested to work with him. Those are the common formalities. But if you are offered the position, probably it's better you can negotiate on the rate, how much you'll be paying per hour or per day or for the project, and what time of the day you'll be working for him. You can negotiate on this duration, how long the project will be, vacation. Usually in contract consulting, you do not get vacation, but sometimes uh, if you are a contract employee, you get, but that's not the consulting that you're talking about. Health benefits, in general, you are not entitled to in consulting positions, but you can always negotiate. But a client can always try to avoid these things, but you can negotiate on that if you think the rate and the time, those are not very reasonable or you are giving up on those areas. You can ask for vacation of health and those kind of facilities. It may be the case the company is already paying to other employees and including you may not incur extra cost to them, so they may be reluctant to, they may be willing to give you these benefits if these don't cost much for them and if they can get a lower rate on the rate and uh, on the rate. Okay, leaving business card, paying them, decide on, yeah, request for proposal. If you are left with that, you need to decide and when to submit, and probably you can discuss a time frame for that. Pricing your services. Now, as a consultant, you need to figure out or you need to determine and what price range you are willing to take. But sometimes some consultants prefer that one price range for all types of tasks you will be doing. Sometimes the consultants may figure out, maybe based on the industry type, his rate will vary based on the platform, the rate will vary based on the size of the company, the rate will vary. Okay. If you are working on Java platform, you can price at one rate. If you are working on PHP platform, you can price different. If you are working for government, you can change your price. And if you are working for a small business, you can price accordingly. And if you are working for a medium to large corporation, you can price accordingly. So anyway, there are three approaches that you can take while determining your price: low price strategy, high price strategy, mid the competition price strategy. Low price strategy, you may present yourself as a low price consultant. You may think that this may increase your chances to get a project, but it may not be always be the case. Sometimes if you price low, probably some clients will not hire you. They may think, okay, your price is low, but probably you're not charging as high as a potential one, as a good one. Probably you don't worth the project, you don't deserve the project. It may think probably the client who will refuse you for $50 per hour project, they may hire you for $90 per hour. So I think it's the mindset. But what happens is the small companies or individual person who is looking to implement a project, they may offer you a lower price. Still, if they are convinced that you are a high price consultant, you deserve the price you are asking for, still they may try to offer you a lower price range, knowing still that you are good, but they cannot afford. Yeah, but I think the best approach is going for what you deserve, probably based on the company or based on the industry. You may try to adjust a bit, but not much. And another thing is the client may think he can give you a lower price to a good consultant, but if you deny it, eventually the client may have to spend more money. If he give lower price and hire a lower quality consultant, probably he will be taking 5 times more time and spending the client the same amount of money if you would be charging high and doing the project fast. So yes, it varies, productivity varies, and in terms of when it comes down to engineering job or programming job, IT job, the productivity varies a lot. So it's an intelligent customer, intelligent client will really try to should try to find a deserving consultant and pay him appropriately. This is the best strategy. I think the good consultant, for some reason, he may work for a low price, but eventually he will leave because he knows what he does worth in the market. So I think giving a fair price, fair rate is really beneficial for both parties. Anyway, high price strategy. Okay, now you will be charging a high price for your rate. I think, yeah, I think by charging high, you may a specific segment of the industry may not come to you who are money conscious or somehow are in trouble or don't have enough money. They may not come to you. You may lose some business. And if you can prove yourself good enough to the clients who usually pay high, you may be good. Meet the competition price strategy. I think in this strategy, what you will do is you try to understand the competition in the market, the consultants with your similar skills, experience, and ability, how much are they charging in the market, and you can price accordingly. And if you're a business, you need to find out what are the competitive consulting businesses are charging. If you're an independent consultant, it probably is, you can also find out what are the independent consultants are charging for the similar type of services. You can find out both the consulting companies how much they are charging, and also the independent consultants how much they are charging, and probably you can adjust. And sometimes probably if you can show that as an independent, you're an independent consultant, but if you are sick or for some other reason you cannot work and to meet the deadline, you may be able to supply additional resources to do the work on your behalf. Pricing other considerations. Okay, when you'll be determining your price, you may consider the industry type. I think in some industries there are some fixed or approximately fixed rates. You cannot break those rules that much, those norms that much. So you need to understand the pricing for those industries and set your price accordingly. A little bit high, little bit low, and also adjust with your abilities, knowledge, and experience. Client price adjustment. Okay, it is depend on the size of the client. If client is a small size, you give a price. If it is a medium size, you give another price. If it is a large corporation, it is another price. Now you have to think, okay, whether you want to do work for the smaller client with a smaller fees. If you don't, then you just have to determine the client type you want to work with and the price you want to charge them. Okay, consulting rate calculation. How much you really should charge? I think it's a very difficult and tricky question. It's hard to determine and what is exactly right and what is exactly fair from your side or from the client side. But if you're trying to move to consulting from your full-time job, so you may take the following approach. You don't have to follow the exactly as it is, but you have to understand what I'm trying to say. And based on this, you can determine your hourly rate. For example, if you are getting $47,000 per year, your salary, you are getting approximately $23.5 per hour and for 2000 hours for the whole year. So if you move to consulting, you will have some more overhead like clerical support, office rent, telephone, automobile, and insurance, marketing expenses, entertainment, professional dues and subscriptions, accounting and legal fees, and miscellaneous other fees. So the total overhead according to this figure, $59,000. So you need to charge $47,000 plus $59,000 equals to $106,000. So $53 per hour. So this is just to give an idea. It will depend, your overhead may vary. If you work from your home, some of the overhead will not be there. But if you work okay, based on the way you operate, you may have some different overhead or you may not have some of the overhead that I told here. So you need to calculate your base salary that you need and the overhead that you are incurring and the total figure, and based on this you can adjust for your hourly rate. Another thing is, when you work as a consultant, you are not getting health benefits, you are not getting any vacation pay, you are not getting any sick pays. So you also need to adjust your hourly rate considering those aspects as well. This is also just another example how we can calculate hourly rate. Okay, so let's say you have a full-time job with $90,000 per year, and adjustments for benefit $10,000 per year. Let's say, so your salary is 90, so you're getting almost $43.27 per hour. Probably I have considered 2080 hours. I considered 52 multiplication 40, and so it becomes $43.27 per hour. I think you can check. And if you work as a consultant, you need to adjust for benefits. Let's see, in full-time job probably you're getting $10,000 worth of benefit, so you can add that here. Adjustment for vacations, depending on your, you may get somewhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks worth of vacations. So as a consultant, you will not be getting this payment, so you need to adjust for this. Adjustment for statutory holidays, yeah, around 9 statutory holidays, and sick days, six days, accounting and legal fees, bookkeeping fees. Actually these figures can be high. Accounting and legal fees, bookkeeping fees, depending on the type of consultancy it can be significantly higher than this. So if we just consider all those things, and in that case, you really should be charging $54 per hour, though you are getting $43 per hour for your full-time job. An adjustment for job security. Uh, you may have to sit idle for a month or two before getting the new contract job. So you need to adjust for the job security. It can be $10,000, it can be $20,000. Adjustment for promotion and marketing. Yeah, you have to spend money on promotion and marketing. An adjustment for notice period. I think usually in full-time job you are given notice for 1 to 2 weeks or a month, so you may lose that money. I think it's 2 weeks worth of notice period. And another thing is, this may be part of the adjustment for job security. You can consider, you can put both figures together. It may fall under that. So if we just consider this, you are supposed to charge $65 per hour. And if we consider the overhead as is shown in the previous slide, like rent, telephone, automobile, just here, so you really should be charging this and $120 per hour. Now I think in IT industry, so far I have seen the established consultants, at least the established consultant companies, they charge around $100 per hour. In general, it can be 90, it can be 125. Yeah, and based on the industry and experience type, some people charge up to $500. Sorry, not $500, probably $100 to $300 per hour, based on some specific industries and based on the experience and skill set of the consultants. Yeah, it's not very uncommon to charge $100 per hour or to charge $300 per hour. Probably is more uncommon. I knew a data warehouse consultant was charging $200 per hour. Yeah, and if you are just starting out, fresh out of college, and probably little bit of experience in those cases, I don't think consulting rate should be going anything less than $30 or $35 per hour. It should not be less than that. In general, and whatever I have seen, in most, I'm talking about IT industry, and with your experience, yeah, you can ask for more. Then you need to do some sort of analysis on the internet to find out the full-time job salary, and also the corresponding consulting salary, consulting wages, and you need to figure out all of your overheads and find out a figure what you want to charge. And there is always a negotiation. You can go up, you can go low, and yeah, that's the thing. Okay, in the next part, we'll be talking about the methods of billing and probably negotiating with clients. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.